Welcome to the best-selling book monetize edition write-in. This is so fun. The story of these write-ins are that I lived in the UK for 4 years outside or in London, and when I moved back to Chicago where I live now, I felt really alone. I didn't know any other people who were writing. I didn't know anyone else who was creative. I just didn't know anybody, right? And anyone who's moved to a new place, you go through these days where not a single person like says hello or knows your name, right? Because you're just in this new place. And it's sort of a weird, surreal kind of experience. And I heard of this writing group that worked out of a neighborhood in Chicago called Ravenswood, which is really kind of a magical place. And they had a thing called Story Studio. It was like a loft space in Chicago. And I saw that they were doing a write in. I was like, I don't know what that is, but I'm really lonely. And I'm sitting here avoiding not doing anything. So I'm going to go to this thing. And I went to the write-in, and all that we did was everyone showed up at this loft and said hi, and we had tea and coffee, and then we all just found a space to co-work. Right, we had just got on our laptops and our notepads or whatever anyone was using, and that was all day write-in. It went from like 9 to 4 or something like that. And then anyone who wanted to could go out and get mocktails or cocktails, afterwards and hang out with each other. And it was really delightful. And then in the pandemic, those stopped happening in person. And so we started adding write-ins to our, we do some write-ins during Thought Leader Academy. We started doing some write-ins, little mini ones at the end of our boot camps. And so, I know some of you are sending me direct messages. So just to let you know, I won't be able to reply to those. If you could put those to either the team, the success, send it to Michelle in the success place where you search, or put it in the main chat so the team can answer. Just because if you're asking me for links and things, we want to let the team handle those so I can coach you guys. So I would be so grateful. Thank you. Okay. So yes, it was like the Inklings cat. Exactly. Nerd moment. Okay. Anyone else a book nerd here? All right. So the Inklings were Tolkien and C.S. Lewis and the fantasy writers that were writing those wonderful books like Lord of the Rings and the Narnia Chronicles and everything at Oxford University in England. And I got to study abroad at Oxford, and I actually went and sat in the booth where Tolkien and C.S. Lewis were writing those books. And I just sat and cried like a cray cray person. And it was super exciting. So I believe in pilgrimages. I think going to physical places where our heroes and sheroes have been is super powerful. And what's fun now in our world is like we can go there through YouTube. Like we can go there through. So it was, yeah, it was like a spiritual experience for me to go and sit there where they were writing those books. So just wanted to have that nerd moment for Kat and I that was putting the Inklings in the chat. So we are having a write-in today. That whole prelude was about we're coming together today for the next 2 hours, and we are going to do a few things. And you're going to do some. Sometimes Zoom mutes me. You're going to do some choose your own adventure moments, and then we're going to do some things together. And the goal is that we come out of here. So, who wants to join me in knowing we come out of this write-in today feeling inspired, feeling more clear in our vision and our goals and our yes, and that we are what we heard in that song, if you were on right when we started, unstoppable in this vision. Okay. So that's our goal of the write in today. So I'm just so honored that you're taking part of your weekend to be with us. It is incredibly, incredibly, I'm not taking it for granted, and what a gift it is for us to get to spend time together and to pour into each other and our collective visions. And I'm excited for Marietta and Amy and Michelle and I to pour into you today. All right. So how is this going to work? Oh, I love that, Margaret. You went in where Michelangelo was in that library. Heck yeah, we can feel it, right? Energy leaves imprints. And we can feel that when we go to these, whatever's sacred to us, spaces. So here's how the writing is going to work. We're going to start out with a writing wedge. If you have listened to the boot camp this week and attended, you know that a writing wedge is a short period of time when instead of scrolling on social media and instead of doing other things, we actually get some writing done and we move our project forward. Okay. So we're all going to do that together here in a few minutes. Then you're going to have the option to do a longer writing wedge. Or you can hang with me and we are going to do some powerful work around clarity. Okay, clarity, because everyone, this is day 6 of the boot camp. This is our day when we get to make the decision, each of us, what is our, what is our structure, right? What's our system that we're going to use to fulfill our goal? What's the mentorship that we're going to use to help us fulfill our goal? Who are we going to be in the room with that's done what we want to do or has the roadmap? And what's the community of success that we are going to move forward with in order to fulfill our goals? We talked yesterday about the 2 other ingredients that, at least for me, were pivotal in being able not only to write now on my 7th book, but to make each of those books consecutive bestsellers and to monetize the thought leadership to 6 and then 7 plus figures a year. Okay. So those are using brain science, because right now the world will tell you it's too scary. We can't spend money. We can't invest in anything. We can't do anything. It's all going to hell. And so we have to rewire our brains to be the leaders, because in every situation, no matter how challenging, certain leaders rise. And you're here to be those leaders. That's why you're in this boot camp. It's not just about writing a book. Like Tony, you shared your incredible story yesterday in the VIP room. It's not just about the book. It's about your movement that you're here to lead, the change that you're here to make in the world. So having to make sure that we're using the brain science and the quantum mechanics to be able to create our own economy and a powerful sense of leadership that is unshakable and not reactive to the outside world, because the world doesn't need another person to commiserate, right? We talked about that yesterday. We don't need another person to say, oh yeah, I know it's screwed, we're screwed. That's not an empowering conversation. And it doesn't have to be a true conversation, because in every contraction and every challenge, then innovation and greatness is born and expanded, right? So that's what we're here really focusing on this week. And then it takes courage, right? We watched that video yesterday. It takes courage to invest in ourselves, even when the world says, oh my God, just stay in the bunker and don't do anything. It takes courage to say, I'm going to focus on the opportunity, not the cost, right? We all are going to invest in our visions, whether you're investing in 90-day bestseller or Thought Leader Academy or something else that you're going to do. We're all going to make an investment in making this happen in the world. It takes investment of our courage, of our time, of our resources. Okay. So we're going to do writing wedge, right? First, then you can do more writing. We're going to have a writing room, or you can work with me on clarity and abundance. If that's the step that you're in, it's like, I need to figure out my courage, my clarity, my abundance, what's going to happen next. Okay. So if you're working on your success plan, you're going to stay with me. If you're going to write more, you're going to go in the writing room. All right. Sound good? Give me a G for good if that sounds good. We're excited to do some writing and some clarity and abundance, or all writing today. Whatever is perfect for you is what you get to do. And remember that we have 90-day bestseller and Thought Leader Academy open with all the special bonuses till 5 o'clock today. And if you want to have a conversation about that, you need help figuring out how you're going to make that happen logistically, either for the time or the financial investment, Marietta is here. You can go in a breakout room with Marietta during the write-in. You can schedule a time later. Marietta, if you have some openings more this afternoon, if you can share your link so people can have a conversation. So remember, we just added yesterday, if you weren't on, we are actually going to playbook the TikTok strategy that Jenna shared. If you were on day 5, we're actually going to playbook the whole how to do what she's doing, selling 100 to 200 books a day on TikTok. Okay, so that's not something we were even going to do, that we're adding in, right? So that alone is worth $3,700. Obviously, you make that back very quickly, all right? And remember, if you're trading with us either in TLA or 90-day bestseller, you're going to have a revenue plan. You're going to make back the investment in the program while you're still in the first 90 days. That's built in, right? So this is where we've got to focus. They've done all these studies on especially women focus, and we focus on the cost. Oh God, oh my God. I do this, right? And I have to go, wait, what's the opportunity? Like, what could I create out of this? Yeah, playbook means a workbook, like a step-by-step row. So it'll say, step 1, do this. Set up your account, go here. This is how you work that strategy. Sometimes someone shares, like Jenna was very inspiring, but do any of us know how to actually do that? I can't learn that from 15 minutes. Like I need to see the steps written out for me, right? So we're going to write out the steps. We call it a playbook because it sounds more fun, right? Exactly. Workbook, playbook. Yeah, we're going to write it out step by step. Okay. Awesome. All right. So remember, some of you are working the next 90 days all on monetization, and you're going to use our Abundance Accelerator system for that. Some of you are focusing on writing your book. Some of you are focusing on both. You've got it all built in. Whatever you're focusing on, it's built in. Next 90 days or the year, if you want to do that with us, is built in. Okay. So let's rub our hands together. Let's close our eyes or soft gaze forward. Just being excited, knowing that we're activating by being here today your genius, your clarity on your success plan, that we leave today having moved these books forward, that you know exactly what you're going to use for your system, your community, your mentorship, the brain science, and the courage. Breathing in and out. And I affirm each of you just get something extraordinary from coming here today. Okay. All right. So we're going to do some writing. We're going to do some writing. Now, we didn't go into a big craft of writing module in this boot camp. That's something you'll get in the 90-day bestseller and in TLA. We have some craft. It means the craft of writing, like how to make the writing good. But I want to give you one pro tip that will take your writing from sort of aspiring to professional. Okay. Some of you know this, and I'm going to give you an advanced move. But some of you who might like, we work with so many people who are like, I'm not a writer. I'm a financial person. I'm a health person. I'm a really, that's not my thing. So I want to give those of you that might be newer to the craft of writing something that is that everyone can do that will make your writing look like a pro. Okay. We cool with that? We're excited. All right. So that is the use of specific and sensory detail in what you're writing. And I'm going to read you a couple examples to inspire us. I like to read something really inspiring before every writing wedge. Someone whose writing is like really good because it kind of reminds me what to aim for. Okay. So what does specific sensory detail look like? It looks like instead of saying, the man drove up in the car, instead of car, you might say, think of the difference in your mind between the word car and the word truck. Okay. Does anything different happen in your brain if you hear car versus truck? Does anything happen in your brain between car versus tractor? Does anything happen in your brain different between Harley Davidson versus car? Right? Changing one noun from generic to specific can start to tell you something, or maybe even if it's stereotypical, lead you to think something about the person. So again, instead of tree, spruce. Instead of bird, falcon. Instead of house, is it a mansion or a shack? Is it a condo? Or, okay, so even if you're writing nonfiction leadership book, there are sensory details in a hospital room or a classroom or a office or a hotel conference room, ballroom, right? They're not all the same. Is it Baroque, ornate with gold, details and gold frames and chandeliers? Or is it cold, modern, white granite counters and black walls? That could still just be a conference room, right? One has chandeliers and gold gilded mirrors, and one has, sleek granite and black walls. Do we get the kind of point here? What happens in the reader's mind is that they will start to have the experience as if they're in the room with you or on the mountaintop or wherever it is that you're taking them. Specific sensory detail can make the difference between flipping the reader flipping next page and not flipping to the next page. So even if you're writing a business book, this is something I want you to think about if you're going to use your wedge to take one of your story bank ideas and actually do some writing on it. Okay? You might use your writing wedge to create more story bank entries, and then you're not getting into this yet. Right? All right. So you want to hear a couple examples so this can come to life a little bit just to inspire us? All right. So one of my favorite writers in the world is Lauren Groff, Groff. She's primarily a fiction writer, and she's written many books that I love. And I just want to read you an example of, and I want you to listen for, is she using general non-sensory experiences, or is she, what are you hearing? Okay. This is from a short story, Delicate Edible Birds. There was a fillip of sulfur and light as Parnell lit 2 cigarettes and placed one between Burns' lips. In the flare, Byrne saw Victor's eyes watching her in the rearview mirror and the pink rolls of the back of Frank's neck. So what do we hear there? All that's happening, this author could have just said, Parnell lit 2 cigarettes, gave one to Byrne, Frank was in the back seat. That's the facts. But what do we get instead? We get sulfur and light as the cigarette gets lit. We get a flare and the pink rolls on the back of Frank's neck. Okay? We don't say, Frank was large. We say pink rolls on the back of his neck. This is a show, not tell. Right? So that's just an example of where, yeah, it paints a picture. Instead of kind of a fuzzy outline, you get a real, did anyone feel like they could see that scene like a movie? You see the cigarettes and the smoke and the flare and Frank. I could sort of think of Frank like a gangster kind of guy, even though that's not fair, right? It's just like what comes to me. Frank's rolls in his neck. Okay. So then Karen Russell, another of my favorite writers. All right. Winter was still raking its white talons across the forest. Spring had been delayed that year. Fleshless fingers for tree branches. Not a blade or bud of green yet. Herons sailed over her head, their broad wings flat as palms, stroking from, this is a dog's point of view, scalp to tail at an immense distance. The dog's mind became empty and smooth. Okay, so you don't need to write super descriptive writing in a thought leader book, but I just want to give us some options and some inspiration. Winter raking its white talons across the forest, right? This is very poetic, right? Karen Russell writes like a poet, but it's good to take a little bit of poetry and put it into even our thought leader books, right? So think about it. Heron sailed over her head, not bird sailed overhead. That's the way we would write it. There's some birds overhead, but she uses the descriptive herons, right? So we know what kind of bird, right? Fleshless fingers for tree branches. Those of you that are advanced, right? Those of you that are advanced, you can do this metaphor work. It's called figure work, okay? I'm just going to show you what Pablo Neruda does with a lemon, all right? Anyone know the poet Pablo Neruda? Absolutely incredible, right? Incredible poet. So, hold on, let me just get this up. I was rereading it this morning because I love this one. This is one of my favorite lines of writing in the entire world. Okay. He's just talking about cutting a lemon, right? So you could just say, I cut a lemon on my cutting board, right? That's what's happening. What Pablo Neruda does with that is said, cutting the lemon, the life leaves a little cathedral. Are you freaking kidding me with this, Pablo Neruda? The knife leaves a cathedral. Can you imagine looking at a lemon and thinking, gosh, when you cut it, the shape is like a cathedral. The knife leaves a little cathedral. Topazes riding the droplets, altars, aromatic facades. So while the hand holds the cut of lemon, half a world on a trencher, the gold of the universe wells to your touch. Okay, I'm being exaggerated. I'm reading you poetry here, okay? But what I want to get at is everything with sensory detail becomes fascinating and mystical and majestic. That a lemon becomes a cathedral, that a lemon becomes the gold of the universe. It's so sensual, right? So all I'm going to have you do is just think about, not in your first draft, not when you're story banking, but those of you that are in revision, I just want to inspire us about just switch generic nouns for something specific. And then think about putting one, either touch, sound, sight, smell, taste, into the piece that you're writing. That's it. Okay? Don't worry about figuring out a cathedral and a lemon. I don't know how long it took him to write that line, but my God, I couldn't even breathe after I read that poem. It was so good. All right? But it's not just about it being gorgeous to read. It's what happens to the reader's brain. Remember, we're brain science based here. The reader's brain will actually light up as if they are having the experience that you're describing if you use sensory detail and specificity. That's why we're actually doing it, so that we don't just write an inspirational book, we write a transformational book. So if you're describing work with a client on Zoom and you think, oh my God, what could I, share that's interesting about that? There's still senses happening. Is your office hot or cold? Do you have a ring light? Is the client, wearing a certain color top? What are you, right? So specific and sensory. One specific detail, one sensory detail. That's all. That's all we're working on right now. Okay. So if you are, here's what we're going to do. We're finally going to get into our writing. All right. But put I for inspiration if that was interesting. Like, did you feel inspired or interested to just hear some examples of how writers are taking or a dog running through the field, someone lighting a cigarette and cutting a lemon? These are not exciting moments. It's not car chases and buildings blowing. It's not the Bourne Identity, but they're taking everyday moments and finding something beautiful and specific in them to be able to share. Okay. So some of you are more advanced writers. I want to give you something to think about. Now, what are we doing in our writing wedge? We're going to go for 25 minutes, 25 minutes of writing. And what are you going to do? I want everyone to pick something right now that you're going to focus on. So what could you focus on? You could work more on your map. SSS or however you're doing your book outline. Okay. You could work on your outline. You're going to put M for map or O for outline if that's what you're going to work on for 25 minutes and start filling in what's going to go in this book. Option number 2, you can story bank. Just sit here for 25 minutes and just think about and journal and then put in wherever you're hosting your story bank notes app or on paper, more things that are going to go into your book. Okay. And you've got the workbook team. If you could share that workbook again, I know some people needed it. If you need the prompts for what goes in the story bank. Option number 3, you're going to take an item from your story bank and you're actually going to start crafting some book writing material from it. You can take one entry in the story bank and you can write a little scene, a little section, a couple paragraphs, and you're going to use one sense: sight, touch, sound, smell, taste, and one specific noun instead of a general noun. Okay? So we're going to just make that. We're going to make this really, does anyone feel like this is simple? Can we follow this? Yeah, Kathy, SSS is a structure. It's a book outline structure that I teach for a nonfiction thought leader book. And that's on day 3. And so you can, I think, was it day 2 or 3? Day two of the boot camp. So you can review that in the workbook and also in the recordings. Yep. Okay. So everyone good? We're going to jump in now. We're going to go for 25 minutes. I'm going to play some music. If you don't like music on, some of you do, some of you don't, just turn the volume down and you can set your own timer. And I'll set actually a timer on the, let me set a timer. Okay, team, it looks like, I guess, because I'm not a host right now for some reason, if Amy, if you could set a timer for 25 minutes that's on screen, so you can watch Amy's screen and set a timer, that would be great. And we're all good. Put W for wedge if you understand. You know what you're gonna, actually, I want to hear in the chat what you're gonna focus on in your wedge. Are you outlining? Are you story banking? Are you writing? Okay, put that in the chat so we know what everyone's working on. Okay. All right. So here we go.'re going to start. And Amy, I'll set a backup one on my thing if we can't get the timer going, but we'll work on that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Tool's not on my screen, Sarah, so I'll keep it and I'll update everybody in chat.
Okay. You all look for Amy's updates. 25 minutes starting now. If you've just joined us, we are doing a 25-minute writing wedge. You can either outline, story bank, or write. We're going to move our books forward 25 minutes. Mouth, give yourself a little shake, a little shimmy. Woo! Way to get some writing done, some book mapping, some outlining, some story banking, whatever it is that you were working on. And those of you that just jumped in, we were doing a writing wedge. So super excited to get to move some things forward. I want to hear in the chat, what did you work on and how did it feel? Maybe just how did it feel? All right, let's see how that felt to get up on a Saturday morning, or some of you are in Europe, it's the afternoon. It felt good to focus. Yeah. Creatively inspiring. Awesome. Reading some of those gorgeous words before going into a wedge. I love doing that. Nice to get it on paper, Paula. Energizing and progressive. Nice, Karen. That's awesome. Super productive. 600 words. Felt great, Deanna. Okay. Well, great job, everybody. That's awesome. Diane, you worked on the story part of your book and added in specific sensory detail. Nice. Oh my gosh, Francis, you got unblocked and couldn't stop writing. How fun. How awesome. You got your outline, book outline, and felt it good organizing, Kathy. Can we give each other some high tens? Most people are sleeping. They're at brunch. They're hungover. I don't know what they're doing. They're working out, all kinds of stuff. But like, woo! Yes, Jackie worked on monetizing her mission with the new masterclass that's coming up in a week or so. Amazing. Congratulations. Great job. Okay, so here are our choices moving forward. All right, what we're going to do now is anyone who wants to do a longer writing wedge, you're going to go do a 45-minute writing wedge. Okay. So we did 25 minutes. You're going to get to do a 45-minute writing wedge. All right. So you can just mute this. You can set your timer. I'll set the timer actually when we officially start. So you can see it on my screen and we'll bring you back. But if you want to set your own timer, if you're just muting, all right. So you're going to go into your writing zone and you again can continue story banking, outlining, book mapping, writing actual sections of your book using sensory and specific detail, just like we did. Yeah, Nadine's like, can we do another one? Yeah. So we're building. I used to be on swim team, and you do like, a little 50-meter swim first, and then it'd be like the 100, and then you'd build up. Like it's pyramid training. So we did a 25-minute wedge, and now you're going to do a 45-minute wedge. Those of you that are fired up and you want to keep writing. Here with me, if you want to keep your volume on, you're going to stay with me and we are going to work on, I'm going to take you through a powerful process that has helped me make major decisions. All right. The other objective of this boot camp, one, is to help you figure out what you're writing, help you start mapping it out, getting some words on the page. That's what we've been doing. The second thing we've been working on is the monetization strategies and what is the system, the mentorship and the community of success that you're going to use to make your vision a reality. So I'm going to lead anyone that wants to go through this powerful decision-making process that I use to make big decisions in my life. Decisions about investing in coaching, hiring team, whether I'm going to host an event, how to monetize. Like it's the process I use for all major decisions. And it's a multi-layered process that helps me feel by the end of it that different kind of part of your brain. All right. And what we're each going to think about is what is the decision that you want to have total empowerment and clarity on? Okay. What's the decision? Some of you are deciding about joining us in 90-Day Bestseller or Thought Leader Academy. You can do it on that. Some of you are deciding about doing a different, maybe you're thinking about hiring someone, you're thinking about, working with an editor, whatever it is. Okay. Everyone think of a real decision. Is anyone else really particular about you want like the exact pen? You want like the pen. Okay. If you're just joining us, we have two things going on right now. You can mute and do a 42-minute writing wedge and work on your book mapping and your story banking and your book. Or you can stay here with me where we're doing making a powerful decision and getting into the abundance zone to fund that decision. Okay. So everyone is going to think that if you're with me in the main room, You're going to focus on what is the decision you want clarity around. All right. And you're going to write that at the top of your page. So it's like, I would write, investing in this team member, hosting this event, joining, those of you that want to do this around joining 90-day bestseller or Thought Leader Academy. Okay. So write that, whatever is the decision you want clarity on, write that at the top of your page. Okay. And then just kind of do a scan to see if right now, what's your relationship around that decision? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel resistance? Do you feel fear? Do you feel excited? Just notice how you feel. And breathe into your belly, because that's going to activate your parasympathetic nervous system. It's going to help you make a great decision and get your ideas. Again, if you want to write, you're just going to mute and look at the timer on the screen and come back in about 40 minutes if you want to be in the writing zone. All right. Okay. Process number one, we're going to go through 4, maybe 5 techniques that I use to get clear. You might get clarity from one of these. You might get clarity after doing the whole sequence. Okay. So the first one is, you're going to write the top 3 reasons to do this thing and the top 3 reasons not to do it. Okay. So just what would be 3 reasons to do it? What would be 3 reasons not to do it? Ready, set, go. And make sure you're breathing as you write. Okay. Put me in the chat if you've got 3 reasons to do, 3 reasons not to. Okay. All right. If you're still working, keep working on that. What I want to share now is what I do with this information. Okay. So, what I do with this information is I look for clues at what information these 2 lists are giving me. All right. So I'm going to give you a real life example. So I was deciding about something new that I'm thinking about creating, a new program. Okay. And so the reasons not to do it is I could spend all this time and money doing this and maybe it doesn't work. It fails. It doesn't, return on the investment. Right. I could, it could dilute my focus from the new book and the things I'm already doing, okay. And then, there's a lot of, fear in the world, the stuff we were talking about yesterday. So is this the time to do something new, or is this the time to like kind of, rein it in, right? So those are three reasons that I came up with of not to. All right. Sometimes I do the not to first. And then I look at the reasons to do it. And I see this is really aligned with the big vision that I feel a calling to in my heart. Could be really of service in new ways to people that I feel called to serve. Could be fun and exciting and certainly creative, right? And so what I do is I look at those two lists and then compare it with my values. Now, our values, all of us in here, could all be different, right? But I have a value of living from vision versus fear. It's like really important to me to be someone that lives from vision versus fear, focusing on opportunity, not cost. So when I look at my two lists, I'm looking for is one of the two. I'm not looking with any agenda about doing it or not doing it. I'm just saying, is one of this more fear based versus vision based? Is one more, I have another vision of playing big, right? Another value rather. And so it's like, is one about, playing small or playing big? I played small for a lot of my life. It did not get me what I wanted. So I don't do that anymore, right? But it's very tempting in the moment of making a decision to play small. So does this give everyone some ideas? So I want you to look at your two lists and notice for you what's important for you in making that decision, right? Like what's important you know, for me, when I look at the reasons not to on my list, they're pretty fear based. What's happening out there. I could try and fail. This is all fear, right? The diluting focus is important. I'll pay attention to that, right? When I look at the do it, it's about vision. So that's just information for me. I want you to look at your list and write down an insight to see if there's information there for you based on what's a value of yours. Okay, let's just take a minute and do that. Okay, take a deep breath. And just notice and give yourself a scan if you feel more clear using strategy number one, right? We're going to do multiple strategies. Everyone I've taken through this process at the end has found clarity, right? Because we have multiple ways we're going to go at it. So just put a C in the chat if you feel a little more clear based on looking at those two lists and how they have information from you about what's really motivating this decision. There was a study done that basically resulted in was one of these like what makes a great leader, what are the people who really do what they came here to do and make an impact on the world. And one of the common traits of these, sort of what are considered great leaders and humanitarians in the world is that they made their vision bigger than their fear. Every day they made the vision bigger than the fear, and that's what I aim to do every day, because the fear is still going to come, especially if there's money involved, time involved, other things, right? Okay, so some of you got some clarity. Great, congratulations. Now, you ready for number two? Give me a number two if you're ready for number two. Okay, great. So second strategy that we're going to do for clarity on making your next big decision is you're going to imagine that we are able to travel to talk with the future you at 90 years old. In this scenario, you are in perfect mental and physical health. You feel amazing. You've had a kick ass life. You're still having a kick ass life. And you are going to ask the 90-year-old you what they recommend you do in this situation about this decision. Okay? So let's all take a breath. I close my eyes to do this. It's easier for me. You can do that if you want. And you're just going to imagine we found a portal. We time traveled out. And so I want you to see you at 90, total badass. And you're going to ask your 90-year-old self, hey, what do you recommend I do here? And you can give your 90-year-old self a hug, and sometimes you'll just kind of sense some things. Maybe you can't really envision it visually or hear anything specific, but you might feel a certain direction. Just let whatever comes to you come to you. And you can imagine giving your 90-year-old self a hug and like, thank you for being so brave and making my life so amazing and giving me the guidance that I need to make my next big decision. Taking a big breath in. And then notice if you felt any more clarity having had that interaction, and put 90 in the chat. If you did, you had a sense of what your 90-year-old self is guiding you in all their wisdom to do here. Awesome. Okay. All right. Beautiful. Great job, everyone. So keep breathing, hands on belly, deep breath in. We want to keep that parasympathetic nervous system going because that's where we're going to get our true guidance. All right. So we ready for strategy number 3? Okay. This is a brain prime, it comes from neuroscience. And it's so weird because sometimes my mind's like, that's not true. But I just want you to try this out. And you're going to say, I already know the answer. You're going to put your hands on your heart or your belly, or one on each, or you can place them on your sweet mind that's working so hard to say, I already know the answer. I already know the answer. I already know the answer. And you're just going to tell that to yourself because that's going to make your reticular activating system start to pull your wisdom and your higher guidance into you. Okay. Yeah, it's very emotional, Kat, because you do know. And we pretend not to know. Has anyone ever pretended like you actually know the thing that's going to move you forward, but we pretend? I've done this so many times. We're like, I don't know the next book idea. I don't know if it's a good idea to take this. It's because I'm scared of the risk. It's not that I don't know the answer. It's because I'm afraid of the risk, right? Yeah. The unconscious mind totally knows, Tony, exactly. Okay. So it's comforting to remind ourselves of the truth because we get seduced by the gremlins. We get seduced by the lie, by the fear. All right. So, we ready for the next strategy? Give me an R for ready or a thumbs up. Ready for the next strategy, right? Okay. So, we're going to keep going and then collectively we're going to get our answer. Now, this one I find fun. We'll see if you do. Find an object that has two different sides. Okay. So, a coin, a bottle cap, it could be anything, a packet of something that has two different sides of writing. This is my vitamin packet, it can be any object that has two different sides. Okay. Give me a thumbs up when you got something to work with. All right. Now, you are going to assign one side to I'm doing this thing and one side to not doing the thing that you're making your decision around. Okay. So if the if the flat side of my bottle cap is do it and the open side, empty side of the bottle cap is not do it, for example. Okay. Heads or tails if you're doing a coin. Okay. So just make sure you've assigned one decision to each side of your object. Now, what you're going to do in a moment is you're going to toss your object, but not where you can see it land. So I want you to safely, as long as it's not something precious or fragile or anything that could break, you're going to toss it onto the floor near you or over near you or just avert your eyes because we're not going to look at which way it lands. Okay. So you've got an object, you assign a side to what it means. And on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, we're going to toss. Okay. If you tossed it close to you, just keep your eyes averted. Now, before we look at which way it landed, hands on heart or belly, and ask yourself which way you hope it landed. Which way do you hope it landed? Okay, write that down. And now we're going to look. Okay, I got to go see where mine went. Now, here's the actual strategy. The strategy of this part of the decision-making process is not which way it landed. That's actually completely irrelevant. What matters is what you hoped, because that your desire was planted in you by your higher self, by your mind. Desire is given to you because it's part of your destiny. Desire is a clue to your destiny. It's a sign of your destiny. So what actually matters in this strategy is not which way the object landed, it's which way you hoped it would land, because that's revealing to you your calling. Okay. Now, if it landed the way you hoped, then great. Yeah, Kat, you can't even find it. It's because it doesn't matter. All right. So, what matters on your clarity, we're going through this how to make a powerful decision, right? And this is our fourth strategy. It matters how we hoped it landed. Yet, if it landed on its side, right, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. What matters is what you hoped. So, did everyone get clear? Nancy, you hoped it said not to do it because of fear. Well, but see, that's important. We were doing a few minutes ago, right? Are you someone, and we can all have different values. You may be like, I listen to fear, man, and that served me and I want to do that. If you feel like you've committed to live a life where you're going to feel the fear and do it anyway, or you're going to, make your vision bigger than your fear, then maybe that's information, right? It's different for each of us. Right. And there's no judgment. But I love that, Nancy. I love that you're like, I hoped it would say no and get me off the hook. Why? Right? Because we want the temporary relief of not having to do the thing. We have the temporary relief. The problem is that's why we talk to our 90-year-old selves, because the temporary relief, oh, thank God, I don't have to spend the money or the time or put myself out there or make the risk. But what happens? How do you feel about it in a year? So let's ask ourselves that. If you decide not to do this thing that you're working on today, how do you feel about that in a year? You'll feel relief initially because you're like, oh, thank God, I don't have to face it. I don't have to do it. So just check in. How do you feel in a year? How do you feel in 5 years? And this is all information. If you feel awesome in 5 years, like, thank God I didn't do it, then that's really good information. Like, yay, right? Versus, you know, I feel disappointment, like you're saying, Kat. Yeah, Nancy, it's so important. Is this diluting our energy in some way, right? Great question to ask. Okay. Yeah. And all we're doing now, Francis, the how is the universe's job, right? And that's what we're going to work on in a few minutes. We get into the abundance. The how's the universe's job. Ours is to decide, is this my calling? Is this my next step? Is my North Star saying this is the next step? If it is, the how will be taken care of. We will be supported. Yeah. Yeah. And regret, Kat. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. And that's why we talk to the 90-year-old self. And it's like, hey, did you say this was a good idea? And if your 90-year-old self is like, girl, please, please get on with it. Okay. I need to have my good future. So it means back in 2025, you need to do this thing right freaking now. All right. Okay. So the final step of this that we're going to do, I find it's easier to do it standing. So if you can stand up, if your physical space and body allows, you can absolutely envision this and not have to do it standing if you don't want to. It does involve the somatic, because our bodies know the answer as well. Just like our unconscious mind, our bodies know. Our brains know, our bodies know. Okay. So you want to stand where there is some space in front of you and in front to the left and in front to the right. Okay. And so right now you're at neutral. So just feel a beautiful golden light, just neutralizing you, relaxing you. You're just observing and witnessing and receiving information. Okay. And then in a moment, we're going to step forward and to the left. And that's the path as if you chose not to do this thing. Whatever it is that you're deciding around, you chose not to do it. You said, I'm a no. Okay. And we're going to step into the you that chose that path a few months, ways down the road. Okay. And we're going to explore it. We're just going to explore and be curious. Ready? 1, 2, 3, stepping forward and to the left, taking a breath. And in this path, you decided not to do this thing. And so feel first your body. How do you feel physically when you decided not to do this thing? Okay, take a deep breath. And now just scan emotionally. How do you feel emotionally having chosen not to do this? Keep breathing. You're doing great. And now you're going to open up, you're going to explore your life. When you took this path, what's happening in your relationships? What's happening in your finances? What's happening? Open up your calendar. Like what opportunities are in your life having taken this path? And is there any information your higher self wants you to know about this path, not doing the thing? So taking a deep breath in, and out. And on the count of three, come back to neutral. 1, 2, 3. You're now back in neutral. Beautiful rain shower of light washes over you, just balancing you. You can sort of roll your shoulders, stretch. Okay. A few deep breaths. And then in a moment, we're going to step forward and to the right. And in this case, you are doing the thing. You make the decision to do it, to go for it. And it's a bit months or so into the path of having done this thing. Ready? 1, 2, 3, stepping forward. And now, same thing here. How do you feel in your body? Having taken this path and going for it. Check in with your emotions. What feelings are present now that you've chosen this path? Another deep breath. And now start to explore your relationships, how you feel about yourself. What's happening in your finances from having made the decision to do it? What's happening in open up your calendar? What opportunities are happening from having chosen this path to do this thing? And then anything else your higher self, the universe wants you to know about taking this path, making this decision to do it. Big deep breaths and just observing, right? Just being curious. And then on the count of three, we're going to come back to neutral. 1, 2, 3. We're coming back to neutral. We're letting this golden light shower over. You could do a stretch, a little twist. Mm. Yeah, beautiful, Nancy, for these shares. Now let's come on back to our seats. If you stood, come on back into your body. If you were envisioning that, give yourself a little shake. Taking some deep breaths and just notice and then spend a moment and just journal. What did you observe? It's interesting, Nancy. I got proud of myself, even though I feel a lot of fear about doing this thing. I felt proud of myself when I stepped into doing it. So I got that too. Yeah. All right. So just take a minute to sort of journal some thoughts. What did you observe? What are your insights from getting to explore the two paths? Yeah, I see some insights coming in. One choice Paula said meant you'd have less control. Interesting, important to look at. Great. Great job. Big breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Oh, that's so interesting, Kat. So one felt kind of dark and one felt really bright in a space of abundance. Nice, Francis. An idea of, okay, checking out who you could ask for a loan. That's amazing. That's amazing. I love it. Okay, so now let's go back to hands on heart or belly. I already know the answer. I know the answer. I know the answer. And then when I do this exercise, I let myself now write, and the answer is. Okay, so you're just going to free write for a minute on, and the answer is just let yourself free write, no censorship, no anything, just I already know the answer, and the answer is. Just see what comes through you. Nice, Nancy. More self trust. Yes. Now go ahead and take a deep breath in and out. Yeah, Carly, you tell people whatever you want. Your choice. You take your power back. I love that. Okay. So put clarity in the chat if you have more clarity now on what will be your most powerful decision than you did, you know, 30 minutes ago when we started this sequence. Just tune into yourself. And what my experience of this has done, my experience of this is that if I don't get the clarity right while I do these 5 practices, it absolutely comes. Like every single time it will come. So some of you might have it so like I absolutely know my answer, and some of you maybe feel like it's still in process. Yeah, you feel more resourceful, Francis. Diane feels more clarity, control of your time and resources. Yeah, Kat, when you say I already know the answer, I cry. Yes, that is so good. So good. Good job, everybody. Congratulations on that clarity. If it isn't already here, you're going to have the replay of this and you can go through and just do these sequences and these exercises. You might like one of them or, more than one of them together. And then you can know that the clarity is going to come. So let's take a breath and know every single one of you. I absolutely affirm that you have your clarity. I claim this is done now. Whether it's conscious or going to emerge and reveal itself to you, I claim clarity for every single one of you now. Declare and decree it. Okay. Great job. So give each other some high fives, some high tens. A good job on sticking with it. That's amazing. That's amazing. Anyone just want or anyone have a big breakthrough that you didn't get to share in the chat? You want to give me a wave and we'll take one or two quick shares if anyone's got something that feels like you want to have it witnessed. You've shared beautiful things in the chat, so no pressure to do that. But if someone's got something bubbling, want to make space. Good stuff. And so it is, Diane. That's exactly right. Okay. So we also said that what we're going to do within this time is we're going to really activate our abundance. So there's a couple of key practices, sort of principles and paradigms that have been absolutely pivotal for me to go from feeling very, very stuck in lack and limitation, financial struggle, poverty, all of those things, and from being able to really open up and co-create the vision that I feel I'm called to in my life. Put C in the chat, those of you that know you have a calling on your life. You have a calling on your heart, whether it's to write this book, lead your movement, make a difference in the world. Like this is bigger than a book. This is your vision. This is your calling. Yeah, absolutely. I could feel that in this room from the privilege of getting to know you this week. All right. And I feel that too. And so when it's a calling, principle and paradigm number one is that your vision, your calling is sourced and supported. Whether you've felt that that's been true up until now or not, what I'm going to offer to you is like your vision is sourced and supported. Your vision is sourced and supported. Yeah, Francis, and you absolutely we'll extend for you. No worries. Okay. We're going to hold that happens Monday. Absolutely. All right. So your vision is sourced and supported. Number two. Okay. Number two is that all of the financial abundance we want is already available to us in the form of an idea that we have not yet actioned. All of the abundance, all the financial abundance we want, anytime there's something we want to invest in, something we want to build, something we want to create, all of that is available in the form of an idea that we get to action or multiple ideas in some cases. Sometimes I've got a really big number, right? It's going to be multiple ideas. So all of the abundance is here in the form of an idea that we are going to receive and get to action. Okay. That's what we're going to be doing for the next 90 days is getting clarity on those ideas and taking action on them. Right. Principle number three, paradigm three is that financial matters are never an issue of resources. It's never about the money in and of itself. It's about becoming resourceful. So, Francis, you just downloaded that while we were doing that clarity exercise. You realized, oh, there's someone I could reach out to. There's a way that I can resource this. So it's never about, and these are the things I remind myself over and over and over and over again every time I think, I don't know how. I don't know how I can make this happen. I don't know where it's going to come from. I don't know where it's going to be. Someone mentioned one of their favorite books was Autobiography of a Yogi when we asked the question of a book that made an impact on you yesterday. And the author of that book, Paramahansa Yogananda, tells a story. I think it's either in that book or another writing where someone's, there's a vision that is made for this beautiful meditation center and this retreat center. And it's going to cost millions of dollars. And one of the students says, well, where's the money going to come from? And the guru of that particular, meditation says, wherever it is at this moment, meaning it's already here, right? It's already here. And so when we start priming our brain for my vision is sourced and supported, period, I will attract unto myself everything I need for this fulfillment. Number two, the abundance I seek is already here in the form of an idea or ideas that I get to action. And number three, it's never about money. It's never about resources. It's about being resourceful. Because it's very easy just to go, oh, I'm looking at the bank account, yes or no, right? But when we're talking about vision, it's a co creative process, right? So I want to share these three paradigms. Maybe you like one of them, maybe you like all of them. This is what I remind myself. This is how I get in state. And then I start to play the 50 ways game. Now, you might have played this with other coaches. We play it here in a very specific way. In Thought Leader Academy, what does it look like? What does 50 ways look like? It looks like you go into a space, and you could start with 10 ways, right? And Francis, you kind of started this, right? And you say, if I were going to get really resourceful and co create this number that it is that I'm looking to create, this financial number, whether it's to build something, make something, invest in something, join something, go somewhere, do something, then we start saying, what are 10 ways someone like me, okay, we're going to build up to 50, but what are 10 ways someone like me could do that? Right? What are 10 ways? You don't have to like the 10 ways. I used to write things that I would never do. Sell my car, sell my, eggs from my ovaries. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, what could someone do? What could someone like me do to create this financial abundance in this time? We're not judging, we're not censoring. It's like brainstorming. Okay, so just for fun, let's take 3 minutes and just write down some ways that someone like you, this is what important for the brain. This is using neuroscience. If we say, how can I do this? You're going to get in your head and freak out. At least if you're like me. All right. What we say is, what could someone like me, with my experience, skill set, network, whatever, what could someone like me do to co-create this investment? All right, so let's just play. Are we up for playing? Let me see thumbs up. Those of you that are playing along, are we up for playing? Just what could someone like you do? Anything that anyone pays anyone for in the world that you actually know how to do can go on the list. Any money that's somewhere that could be moved, like Francis got an idea of somewhere where it could be, it could come over, right? So we're just going to come up. Let's go for 3 to 10 ways. Ready, set, go. Get stuck at all. Think about what you'd advise a friend who was like, I have this dream. I really want to do this thing. Here's the money that is involved. What are the ways you would envision for your friend to be able to absolutely do that? Okay, put a 3 in the chat if you've come up with 3 ideas. You don't have to love them. You're not committing to doing them. You've just got at least 3 ideas, 3 or more. Kat, you've already got 4. Awesome. Yeah, Nancy, and you can do this around energy and time too, not just around finances, for sure. Absolutely. Sometimes it's not about financial abundance, it's about time abundance, energy abundance. Yeah. Oh, look at this. We've got 3, 4, 7, 6. Okay, great job, everyone. Awesome. 29, but you started this Wednesday, Christy. I love it. I love it. You got a head start. I love it. That's amazing. Amazing. Okay. Now, what we want to do next is you want to circle any that you feel either excited about or willing to do. It's like I think that these are, so if I make a list and some of them are a little bit out there and it's like, I don't really feel great, but it's like, oh, these two, I could kind of, I might be scared to do them, but like I could see that, right? Okay, so just identify any on your list. They're like, I could imagine doing that. The goal is to come up with at least one coming out of this very quick version, right? I'm just doing a little mini laser 50 ways. Nice, Francis. You made it kind of feel more reachable. Beautiful. Awesome. All right. That's the universe saying, and so it is. Absolutely. All right. The award goes to you for being a badass and being brave. Okay. So sometimes I do this. I don't get anything real inspiring right away. Sometimes I do it. I get something really inspiring and move forward. The point is to keep playing the game. Okay. And those of you that are continuing on coaching with us, we are going to do this and other techniques to be able to generate the perfect strategies and ideas for us to monetize, right? Some things are long game and some things are short game, right? Like these are some things I could like, oh, I could implement that next year, or I'm going to sell my books on TikTok like Jenna shared yesterday, but my book's not done. So like what are the things now, right? What are the things now that are going to make that difference? Okay? So who feels even a tiniest bit more empowered around the possibilities around abundance? Again, whether it's yeah, it's a stretch but doable, Nancy. Nice. So it's like, yeah, I'm not saying when I play this game, I just feel like, oh, woo, it's all figured out. It's like, oh my God, right? Yeah. But do you feel a little more empowered around the way that you can move forward to co create your vision? And here's the cool part. Remember the W.H. Murray quote if you haven't heard it or haven't heard it recently. When we commit, providence moves too. Providence, the universe, and doors open where there were no doors, and all manner of unforeseen things begin to happen like magic that would never have happened otherwise. The scary part in this whole thing we call entrepreneurship, thought leadership, life really, is that it's the action of committing that opens up the floodgates of the ideas that create the abundance, that create the results. And I've tested this because I thought that was total BS, as I shared. I thought it was just such a thing people like would say, join my course and then you'll be trained. It's like I just didn't believe it. And then I started actually just taking the terrifying leap to invest in myself and in the vision. And it was incredible what happened. Because when we commit, providence moves too. And a whole different future emerges when we step into whatever the in is, whatever the next step in the vision is, right? I love it, Francis. Yeah, this is your 60th birthday week. Okay, let's go. If not now, when? Yes, I love it. Decade birthday. That's right. That's right. One of our clients, Sarah, calls it sexty instead of 60. That's awesome. Yeah, the universe conspires to support you. Exactly, 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 right? So we've got to stay, and that's why we need our community of success and our mentorship and our structures to get to, our system, because our life won't rise to the level of our vision. It will match the level of our vibration, our system. right? So that's why it's been so crucial for me to get in the community mentorship and system that is designed to do what I want to do. All right. So this is awesome, you guys. Those of you who've been in the writing room, if you are back or coming back, that's great. We have a few minutes before we're going to conclude our write-in. So let's all put our hands, you can decide where you need it, on your throat, if it's about your voice, on your heart, if it's about courage, if on your solar plexus here under your rib cage, if it's about your worth, your belly, if there's any fear. So let your hands be guided to the part of you that gets to have more love and support right now to move forward from this boot camp. You do know the answer. Your vision is sourced and supported. You are one with all the abundance of the universe. Anything you need, you will attract and bring forth from within you because that calling that's been put on your heart is your destiny. What you are seeking is seeking you. The answer is in the room. So let's just spend a moment now and just do some free writing and journaling. If you've come back from the writing room, just kind of taking the journey that we've been on this week from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, our extra session on Wednesday night, yesterday, today, and just connect in with your most powerful self, your higher self, your vision self, your destiny self, and just claim what you are going to do next moving forward from this boot camp. Okay. And then we're going to raise our vibration. This is going to bring in more abundance. I'm going to give you a couple kind of kooky things. They're going to help seal us into this vortex of abundance so that you can receive those resources that are here for you with your vision. All right. So win streak. What's your biggest win from this week? Let's think about Monday through now. Some of you I know joined midweek or just now, but like, what's the biggest win? What's something you either learned, discovered about yourself, an action that you took that you're super proud of yourself around? Let's just do a win streak in the chat, okay? So what are you celebrating that you're most proud of yourself, you're most grateful for from this week? And then put that in the chat so we can celebrate you. Yeah, bundling your book with a workshop, Paula. Awesome. Keep that win streak coming. And as you read each other's, you can do a fun game of I am one with that. If someone's done something that you now want to do, you claim that for yourself. Nice, Julie. You got 6 pages written and a new idea for a journal and possibly an app. Yes, I got into download an app yesterday, Julie. We need to talk. Okay, I love that. Learning about and taking action on the TikTok platform. Great, Karen. Okay, let's see these wins. All right, keep them coming. You know what I'm going to play for you all. A win streak while playing that song. Anyone else? At least it is for me. All right. I love it. I love the energy in here. I love the wins. I love the breakthroughs. This is the beginning. This is the beginning. And those of you who enjoyed this week, who feel connected here, if you feel empowered and inspired and you want to keep this party going and continue on, of course, we get to do that. So you can join 90-day bestseller. I know some of you just came into the boot camp yesterday and today. And that's where we're going to take the next 90 days. So you can either start and finish or finish a draft of your manuscript so that you know by June you have written this freaking book manuscript, right? And you can take it further. And we're going to work on monetizing. We're not waiting until the books are done to begin monetizing. We are going to focus on monetization while we're writing. You heard from people all week who are doing that through speaking, through book bundles, through courses, through workshops, through master classes, through social media, all the things. All right. So we're gonna be side by side for 90 days, whether you're in the full year of Thought Leader Academy or focused all on 90-day bestseller. We're all gonna do this 90 days on writing and monetization. So those of you that already have your book done, you are just going to be this, okay? You're going to be monetizing, all right? You get to work one-on-one with this with a session with Marietta and Amy in our strategy session to help look at those revenue generating activities like we were just doing in the room, so you know what to do every day to be generating that. And then we'll have a full six-figure revenue plan masterclass with me where you're going to see the big picture of the revenue generation, right? So when you think about, yes, it's an investment. Normally this is $7,000 to do the 90-day bestseller. It's $3,700 until today at 5 for those of you who are here doing the boot camp. And if you need, like Francis, like, give me till Monday, right? Just message the team. Of course, we can figure out a plan for you, of course, right? And then you'll get an extra monetizing session with Marietta, the first 10 people, which there's a couple more, I think, because some of you who are in Thought Leader Academy, you get us all the time. All right. So, Marietta, if you could share your link, this is the link for our strategy team. If you want to have a conversation and you're like, I don't want to lose momentum, I don't want to come out of this boot camp and have it be, what did Nancy say, kicking the can down the road? Oh, it's next year, it's whatever, right? Then absolutely book a time so that we can help support you today in figuring it out, whether it's figuring out the financing, figuring out the time, the energy, as Nancy said. And if you're feeling a yes, if you're feeling a yes to moving forward with your monetization in your book, then just book the time and we will go all in to find that way with you, right? Can't always see it by ourselves. That's why you don't have to do this alone. Well, I couldn't do it alone, right? And we can think about, who are we writing this for? What is going to change for you, others in the world, when you not only write this book, but you create that monetization and show others it's possible and are able to take care of yourself and your family and the things you care about. So, really, really exciting. All right. So, absolutely. It's always here in the form of an idea. So, you don't have to be alone in figuring anything out with the time or the money. Just book a time and we will connect and we'll make sure to support you in being able to do that. All right. Really excited to have spent this week with you. I am just so honored to and filled up in our hearts. Marietta, Amy, Michelle, and I, it is our greatest privilege to get to do this work. And we're really excited to continue with you. And just picture in June to have a party where we're all holding those manuscripts up. I've got a new book. I'm only one chapter in, so I've got some writing to do. All right. In these next 90 days, writing and monetizing. All right. So, really, really excited that we've been with you all. And again, like Sue Sanchez, you talked about, oh, what if I have a trip in the middle of the 90 days? And we'll find a way to figure out, how to extend and move the timing around for you. Okay. So, let's do a wolf howl. It's a pack sport. Writing is a team sport. Oh, I love that, Helen. I saw that howl. All right. So we're running as a pack so that you've got every single, here's what I'm doing, here's what's going on. Plus, how fun, right? We get to continue this party and just keep having our write ins every week and all our good time together. I'm so excited, so honored, so thrilled. Yes, for you and for your readers and for the people in your life who need to know it's possible. They need to know it's possible. So as we get ready to conclude, just take another breath. Give yourself so much acknowledgement and gratitude for showing up this week. Really honoring yourself for showing up, for playing big, different time zones, different things. It's never convenient. There's never time. And you came here anyway. And that's what's going to make you successful. You're going to keep showing up and taking the next step. So we're excited to do that together. You've got your links. We'll send out the replay. We'll send the links out again. And if anyone has questions and wants support around the, doing your sign up by 5 o'clock, just stay on here now and we'll support you. Okay. All right. Well, or book a time for later today if you need to go. Congratulations. Great job. Go out there and win. Write and monetize. Let's go. Yes, if anyone needs the email, it's care@sarahcannell.com. Awesome, everybody. Good stuff. stuff. Have a great rest of your weekend. Mwah, mwah, mwah. All right. And just give us a wave if you have a question, need any help with registration. Yeah, Valerie, so glad you're here. And Helen, I want to be in that cottage with you writing. Or maybe next door since it's your quiet time. So gorgeous. I love it. Love, love, love. Kat, you made me think about something now I want to do. Like I need another project, but now what I want to do is do a documentary where we go to all the places where the most beloved writers would like hang out and get their ideas. So we do an episode at the Inklings in Oxford at the Eagle and Child. That's the name of that pub where they would at Tolkien and C.S. Lewis would hang out. But then we could go to, Parnassus where Anne Patchett writes her books and go down to go to I've been to Hemingway's house, Faulkner's house, Frida Kahlo's house, like how now I want to do that. Now I'm like I'm gonna be so like on that thing. First, I'm gonna write the book I've started, right? I know I've got to prioritize. Okay, great stuff. Anybody have a question? Anyone need some support with registration? Or you can feel free to put a question in the chat too if you need anything. We're good? Okay, everybody. We're so excited. Do your registrations by 5 to get all the yummy bonuses, and we'll see you all soon. Congratulations. Great job. Bye bye.